Starting off with number 10, activism. Many people started to believe Meghan's actions are more performative than true advocacy. If you want to go and do something to help an underdeveloped region, is it necessary to bring cameras with you to record you doing a good deed? Meghan might be onto something, and we're starting to think the bigger picture is to show people she is a good person who helps others while simultaneously using her status to get her way. Other times the cameras have been an issue is during the Docu Series when the couple was called out for using a royal family approved picture of them walking to prove a point about them being hounded by paparazzi. On top of all this, Harry drew a comparison between Meghan and his mother, the late Princess Diana, which, you guessed it, rubbed people the wrong way. It caused an outrage, with some calling the comparison disgraceful and disrespectful, but the tea is that the use of these clips has led several former royal aides to hit out at Harry and Meghan, according to The Telegraph, who say the couple did not experience any incidents of press intrusion in any way comparable to Diana. Number 9, acting. Now, we all know Meghan was an actress before she stepped down to become an activist and the Duchess of Sussex. So we can't help but wonder why her reasoning to step down from royalty had to do with an overwhelming amount of media attention when she was subject to that throughout her acting career. What are your thoughts on this? Is it valid, or do you think she's lying and hiding something? Number 8, the Docu Series. We have all seen, or at least heard about, the 6-part Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, and let me tell you, the tea on these two, especially Meghan, is hotter than ever. While it was back in 2020 that the couple stepped down from the throne to live a life away from the royal responsibilities to have a quiet and normal life, we can't help but question why everything they've been doing is the exact opposite of quiet. The internet has been up in flames over Meghan's behavior in the docuseries, and some feel as if it should just be titled Meghan because of her dramatic approach to topics that some do not feel deserved a whole series, especially if they wanted a life away from the press and media. Body language experts have revealed that Meghan's behaviors and actions show her as a manipulative narcissist who is using Harry's vulnerability against him and controlling him to do everything she wants. Others believe she wanted to step away from the royals because she was unable to control the narrative of the British press. That is some drama, but let me know what you think in the comments. On to number 7, not caring to learn about the royal life. During an interview with Oprah, Meghan claimed she knew nothing about the life she was set to live with the love of her life, Prince Harry. But according to a well-placed source, that was a blatant lie. Prince Harry and brother William's private secretary at the time had created an organized folder with information and contacts to help Meghan in this transition into royal life, but clearly she didn't care to learn any of it, and on top of that, accused the palace of not directing her through this journey. Sounds like a you problem, Meghan. Another lie she had orchestrated was about not having her niece invited to the wedding, which she had said was guidance through the palace, when in reality the press team was desperate for Meghan to have more family and friends at the wedding, but she simply didn't want Ashley exposed to the media. Number 6, back to the Oprah interview. After the infamous Oprah interview dropped back in 2021, the couple has been accused of prolific lying, with lies being told about racism, among other things. People can't help but wonder what is the truth and what is being exaggerated. After getting an award for heroism, royal expert Angela Veen has spoken about how they did not deserve it because of the things that were said in the interview. If you haven't watched the interview, there have been endless criticisms on many things that have happened throughout the interview, from questionable body language to overdramatic recalls of personal situations. She brought up how she hasn't gotten any help with her mental health, which many were also quick to call out by saying that was fake news. I mean, Meghan, how many times do you plan on talking about your life that you so badly want to keep private and to yourself? But number 5, mockery. Meghan mocking royal traditions. Now, as many know, there is a scene in the series that shows Meghan doing an overly dramatic take of the royal curtsy she was to do when she met the Queen. As she's laughing it up, look over to Harry and notice his reaction. He's staring at her as if he's annoyed with her mocking something that is part of his tradition. Interesting. Seeing as he is uncomfy by the mockery, it is definitely not a good look for Meghan at all. Other than the mockery, there have been several instances where Meghan chose to do what she preferred rather than respecting the rules of the royal family. Meghan's critics would say it was presumptuous of her to think that the centuries-old monarchy would suddenly change up its operations because of a newcomer. Meghan is not known to be someone who is going to change herself just to please the people around her. There was a conversation where Meghan had to be reminded that she and Harry were not as high on the royal hierarchy because Harry is only 6th in line to the throne, while William will become king. Number 4, natural for Meghan, uncomfy for Harry. Being an actress, Meghan appears to understand the media attention. Since she, along with the rest of the world, knows that Harry has vocalized his dislike for the media attention, there are theories that Meghan is loving it. To be fair, Prince Harry has gotten much more attention throughout his life, so she has to remain on the same page as Harry and make sure the public can see she isn't liking it either. Number 3, political. Protocol says no politics. William is doing bits in making a difference even from his political views, but when Meghan does it, the media goes crazy. Sounds fair. On the royal couple's website, Archwell, a picture is posted with Meghan Markle showing off her voting sticker to urge Americans to vote on midterm election day in November 2022. The royal family members are supposed to be neutral in elections, so this is seen as a savage move since she is now part of the family. Number 2, no name tag. The annual royal race in Ascot has very strict dress code requirements. The female visitors of this prestigious event have to choose dresses with closed shoulders that are at least knee length. They're also supposed to wear elegant hats and special branded name tags. But during the 2018 race, Meghan Markle ignored these requirements for her name tag. Unlike other guests, the Duchess of Sussex didn't put a badge on her dress, but kept it in her hand instead. By the way, the only member of the royal family that doesn't have to wear a name tag is Queen Elizabeth. And number 1, breaking protocols. Here is an extensive list of times Meghan simply decided to not follow protocol. She has worn dresses of a shorter length than other royal members usually wear. The couple's wedding was not on a weekday, which is royal tradition. While on their South African tour, the couple made a request to only be referred to as Harry and Meghan instead of with the royal titles, and the two of them are regularly seen showing PDA, such as hugging and holding hands in photographs taken by paparazzi. She wore Dior to Archie's christening, even though the royal mother typically wears a piece by a British designer. The couple announced baby Archie's birth on the gram, even though traditionally the news of a royal baby is shared on a ceremonial easel outside of Buckingham Palace. Another real part of the royal family is not to voice any political views, but of course, Meghan has done that too. Starting off with number 10, Jim Carrey. You will feel very, very uneasy during this interview with Jim Carrey on the red carpet. The actor says there's no meaning to any of this, so I wanted to find the most meaningless thing that I could come to and join, and here I am as he walks in circles around the presenter. You have to admit that it has very little significance. Carrey goes on to say, boy, that is just the absolute lowest aiming, possibility that we can come up with, in response to the reporter's explanation that they are at the event to honor icons. It's similar to icons. Do you have faith in icons? I don't trust in characters. I don't completely accept that they exist. However, there is a brilliant scent in the air. He went on to say, yeah, I don't believe in personalities or icons. I believe that peace transcends one's personality, the creation of the sky, and the red S on one's chest that causes bullets to bounce off of it. I think it goes much further than that. A classic Carrey response, never know what this guy's up to. On to number 9, Robert Downey Jr. If you were ever wondering, asking RDJ about his father and his relationship with substances during Iron Man promo does not go down well. Just ask Krishnan Guru Murthy. Yikes. Don't be like him. Just stick to the normal questions and you'll have everyone on board with your interview. Or you could always be edgy and ask RDJ what his favorite Avenger is aside from himself. Well, we already know it's not Hawkeye. RDJ has been vocal about that in the past. He even said, I don't think I'm eligible for that position, so there you go. Don't try asking him about Hawkeye's strengths and weaknesses. That won't get you anywhere. Either way, when it comes to interviewing Robert Downey Jr., just remember, stay safe and keep it fun. Ask him about his new projects, life as an actor, and his thoughts on the MCU. That should keep you and him entertained. Who knows? He might even talk about the time he was arrested for substance possession while filming Iron Man. Now that would make for a great interview. Just don't forget to be respectful. RDJ doesn't like it when people cross the line. I mean, no one should. Number 8, Jeffree Star. Although there seems to be an online consensus that Jeffree Star has absolutely done some foul things in his life, such as using his fortune for big money payouts to keep people quiet, it hasn't seemed to dim his star whatsoever. The Personalities Cosmetics brand is still very strong, and his apologies for past behavior has only been criticized as being not only insincere but insensitive, like when he mentioned the passing of Breonna Taylor and Elijah McClain to distract from the heat he was facing online. But the one thing that can't be denied is his influence on YouTube's beauty community. From lipsticks to eye palettes, he's been a pioneer in giving us some of the most vibrant and creative makeup products, for better or for worse. From the latest controversies to his makeup products, Jeffree Star has certainly made an impact in the beauty world, and is something that likely won't be going away anytime soon, whether you're a fan or not. On to number 7, Quentin Tarantino. A female journalist asked director Quentin Tarantino about Margot Robbie's character Sharon Tate's lack of lines at a press conference for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He reacted with a snarl and refused to respond. Quentin, you've put Margot Robbie, a very talented actress, in your films. She was with Leonardo DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. She was in I, Tonya, was how the conversation started. Yet in this film, you haven't really given her many lines. I'm speculating that was an extremely purposeful decision on your part, and I was simply asking why that was. Why don't we hear her talk more often? The reporter inquires. The response from Tarantino is, well, I just reject your hypothesis. Margot added, I always look to the character and what the character is supposed to serve to the story. I think the moments that I got on screen gave an opportunity to honor Sharon and the likeness. I don't think it was intended to delve deeper, and I think the tragedy ultimately was the loss of innocence. And to really show those sides of her, I think could be adequately done without speaking. I did feel like I got a lot of time to explore the character even without dialogue specifically. Number 6, Dakota Johnson. During a live interview on the Oscars 2015 red carpet 50 Shades of Grey's, Dakota Johnson was joined by mother Melanie Griffith and proceeded to fall out with her right away. When asked what it was like having her mother there by her side, Dakota replied with a dry, it's great, it's complicated. Oh, the joy of growing up with a Hollywood mom. Talk about drama queen training from day one. Let's hope the relationship is back on track, and most importantly that Dakota isn't too scarred to come back for more interviews. Meanwhile, we must give kudos to Johnson for her admirable composure during the awkward moment. She might not have won an Oscar that evening, but she definitely deserves one for keeping her cool. The fun didn't end there though. A few minutes later on the red carpet, Dakota was interviewed by Ryan Seacrest and asked whether her mother was in attendance at the after Oscars party. Her response, a classic eye roll, and no, don't even go there. We've all been there. The struggles of getting your parents to accept a night out with your friends are real. Let's hope these two can put their differences aside sooner rather than later. After all, you can take the girl out of the mother-daughter relationship, but you can't take the mother-daughter relationship out of the girl. It just goes to show that no matter how famous you are, family feuds never change. We all know that these moments are often temporary, and both Dakota and Melanie will look back at this red carpet moment, hopefully, with a smile in years to come. On to number 5, Samuel L. Jackson. When a news anchor confused Samuel L. Jackson with Lawrence Fishburne. We don't all look alike, Samuel burst in response. We may all be black and famous, but we don't all look alike. You're busted. You're an entertainment reporter and you don't know the difference between me and Lawrence Fishburne? Everyone laughed, but it was a teachable moment for us all. It's clear that we can't make assumptions about people just because they're part of the same racial group. We need to do better. And from then on, anytime someone made a mistake like that, Samuel was sure to help them out. In his own words, we ain't all the same, my friend. The lesson here is simple. Whether you're an entertainment reporter or not, everyone could use a little more effort when it comes to understanding different cultures and backgrounds. We should never be quick to assume that someone looks like anyone else based solely on the race. Let's take this moment as an opportunity to really think before we speak, and make sure we don't fall into this type of habit again. Samuel really showed us just how important it is to be mindful of our words and actions when it comes to understanding others. Anyway, on to number 4, Cara Delevingne. From the Cara Delevingne to this, you seem a little irritated. We'll let you go take a little nap and maybe get a Red Bull. This Paper Towns interview did not go well for Good Morning Sacramento. Cara Delevingne is a woman of many talents, model, actress, and now international superstar for her hilarious response to the anchor's question. At least we can appreciate her candidness and sense of humor, but maybe next time they should try a different approach when interviewing someone as talented as Cara. She might just surprise everyone with another witty comeback. And this should be a lesson to any budding news anchors out there who are interviewing celebrities. Always take your time to think about what questions you're gonna ask them beforehand, or else you may end up getting an answer you never expected, like from Cara Delevingne. On to number 3, Gwen Stefani. During an episode of The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon when Dua was guest hosting, she accidentally referred to Gwen's partner Blake as her husband when they weren't married at the time. So I've heard that you've been spending quarantine with your husband Blake Shelton at the ranch in Oklahoma. Dua said, "Who else was with you? How was that?" Gwen replied, "Well, he's not my husband," before easing the awkwardness with, "But that sounded cool when you said it." Happily, 1 year after the awkward exchange between Dua and Gwen in August 2020, she and Blake tied the knot on his ranch in July 2021. Cute. We can only imagine how fun their wedding must have been. We bet there was plenty of singing and dancing, something both Gwen and Dua definitely know how to do. Who knows, maybe even a special duet between the two ladies? That would truly be something to witness. Whatever happened at that wedding, we're sure it was one memorable night for everyone involved. And here's hoping that Dua will get another chance on The Tonight Show to show off her hosting chops. This time without any more awkward missteps. I think she'd make an amazing host once again, right? Number 2, Hailey Bieber. It looks like Hailey Bieber will never beat the Mean Girl allegations online. Jelena fans targeted the model for years, accusing her of being romantically involved with JB while dating Selena. This time, Hailey is facing backlash for reportedly copying her husband's ex. Are people going overboard with these theories, or are they onto something? And finally, number 1, Daniel Craig. Everyone from Prince William and Kate Middleton to Daniel Craig were at the premiere. But judging by one particular interview, the actor is over being asked about who's going to replace him as James Bond. He answered with, "Not my problem." As for whether he'd ever return as Bond, nope, he said. That ends that one then. Starting off with number 10, media. Now, do we really need to talk about the many times this couple has brought up the royal family after stepping down? Meg and Harry managed to get a whole lot of attention after their announcement to move out of the palace, which eventually led them to stepping down. Now, obviously, the British media did not take to this news lightly, with many outlets creating stories not supporting the royals or their decision. And then they dropped the CBS special with Oprah, which caused a lot of controversy, just in case you forgot. But that wasn't even the best part. From claims that Meg and Harry got married before the televised wedding to Harry saying they were cut off financially from his dad, King Charles, the messy interview just got messier for the Sussexes. And I'm obviously not going to invalidate their experience because, well, for one, I wasn't there at all. But some claims, such as the fact that they had been married before the televised wedding, was quickly shut down by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Yikes. So the question stands, why did they decide to make some stuff up for this tell-all interview? Number 9, family drama. Where shall we begin, guys? After Harry had a discussion with Will about Meg, an argument was created, according to Spare, the memoir where Will, future king, pushed Harry onto the floor. Prince Harry talks about the hierarchy in the video and says, you know, there's leaking, but there's also planting of stories. No one knows the full truth. We know the full truth. More unwanted attention on the family with the show The Crown based on stories from the royal family is also receiving backlash on a storyline about the affair between Prince Philip and friend Penny Natchbull, which is believed to be insensitive following the passing of Queen Elizabeth in September. Number 8, deals. The couple claims to have given up a lot to start a whole new life, but did they? So far, most things they have been doing involve the fact that they haven't given up some aspects of the life they were once living. For one, the title of Harry and Meghan's foundation caused some royal drama because they were told they were no longer allowed to use royal suffixes. They eventually came to an agreement that the title will be revised after the spring of 2020. Other ways it just doesn't seem that the couple has let go completely is by the fact that they are profiting off the grief they experienced from the royals and sharing it with people in different forms, like the series, interviews, and even the new memoir, which focuses greatly on how he dealt with all the royal drama, and it doesn't really paint them in the greatest light. Another way they just can't seem to let go is through the lies they make to create stories that bring them attention. Back to the series, which was just so outrageous. There are pictures showing them leaving the castle, which they claim was taken without permission, which was later debunked by the photographer who said he had access and permission to take the picture. So awkward, because if you're gonna share an experience, the least you can do is give a truthful story with it. But what do you guys think? How long does this couple have before people become tired of this narrative, which doesn't seem to be the most credible? Speaking of the docu-series, on to number 7. Since the backlash from the interview didn't seem to do anything to Harry and Meg, it was followed by this tell-all docu-series that dives into the personal lives of the couple and their experiences at the castle, which they felt was super mandatory to share with the rest of the world. And just to be clear, this caused just as much, if not more, backlash, with more people questioning why the couple keeps sharing all these personal stories after claiming they want to keep their personal lives away from the media attention. Many people have questioned if this couple decided to drop this Netflix miniseries to make extra cash, since it doesn't seem the royal inheritances is enough to keep their family stable. And what would be better than milking the story of the royal family and exposing them for money? And then of course, Harry targeted the British media and their attempts to exploit the royal family. During the 3rd episode of the series, Harry describes the role that royal correspondents, those who specialize in coverage and analysis of the royal family for newspapers and tabloids, play in the British media. They're an extended PR arm of the royal family, he says. There's been an agreement that's been there for over 30 years. In the documentary, Harry says he was chased by paparazzi 30 or 40 times in his youth, particularly while attending school. He said the UK tabloid media believes the royal family is theirs to exploit. The trauma is their story and their narrative to control. Their trauma is our story and our narrative to control. During the opening episode, Harry says as part of his responsibility as a member of the royal family to expose the British tabloids and how they operate. I feel as though being part of this family, it is my duty to uncover this exploitation and bribery that happens within our media. Well, you're not a working member of the royal family, Harry, and now it seems like you've joined the tabloids to exploit the royals too. Is that a coincidence? Number 6, exposing Will. Now, if you have siblings, then you know how easy it is to piss them off. The royal brothers are not any different. The feud between Harry and Will has been going on for some time now. The brothers had a pretty intense disagreement over Meghan, and when one thing led to another, Harry claimed Will pushed him to the floor out of anger, causing him to injure his back. And even though the two had to come together to unveil the statue of their mother, Princess Diana, sources suggest their relationship may never be the same again. They put on a show, they did what they had to do to make sure the day went without a hitch and said goodbye. It was nothing more, there was nothing to discuss. Things are still far too raw for William and other members of the family to entertain Harry, so it's best to let things lie for the moment. Clearly the royal drama gets pretty intense behind the palace doors. Speaking of tension, on to number 5, when his bombshell TV and podcast interviews dropped, creating a lot of controversy. Harry had to return to the UK to reunite with his family, which he only did twice. The first reunion took place in April when the Duke of Sussex flew to London to attend Prince Philip's funeral. His second trip was when he participated in the unveiling of the statue in honor of his late mother. Both times there was a lot of tension between Harry and the royal family, many who were obviously upset and angry over the fact that Harry and Meg were publicly dissing the monarchy over the past year. Although the Duke is said to have met privately with his brother William, his father Charles, and his grandmother, the Queen, during these trips, Harry himself has never spoken out about what it was like to reunite with the royals following the furious controversy that arose from his numerous interviews. I want to say it wasn't the most friendly encounter. Clearly tension was high in the palace, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Number 4, exposing racism in the family. Now this one's a juicy one. Back to the CBS special with Oprah, one of the most damaging allegations made was the couple's claim that a senior member of the royal family questioned how dark their son Archie's skin would be. Meghan claimed that there were several conversations about the color of their son's skin when she was pregnant. She refused to identify the person in question, saying only that it would be really damaging to them if their name was to be revealed. The allegation sparked a furious controversy, with many demanding to know exactly who made the comments. After the interview aired, Oprah revealed that Harry had made clear to her that the comments were not made by the Queen or her late husband, Prince Philip. She did not share any details about their identity. The catch is that Harry did reveal that there was only one conversation about Harry's skin color, not several as Meghan suggested, so we can't help but wonder who the person asking these questions or question could be and why Meghan claimed there were more conversations on the topic. Who is lying? Who's telling the truth? I guess we'll never know. Number 3, Lilibet. Another controversy to add to the list. There was a debate of whether Harry and Meghan asked the Queen if they could use her private nickname Lilibet for their baby girl. The Duke and Duchess admitted they bought Lilibet Diana and Lily Diana internet domains before Harry spoke to his grandma. The couple said they wanted them to stop profiteers from cashing in, but the prince's biographer said he clearly hasn't consulted the Queen at that point. It is common courtesy to ask, and this is no ordinary grandmother. This is the Queen. The Sussexes threatened to sue the BBC after it quoted a source as saying they never asked permission to name their daughter Lilibet. They insisted the Queen was the first family member Harry called after the birth, and she was supportive of their choice. Buckingham Palace did not comment, but sources said she had been told, not asked. Number 2, canceling Harry and Meghan. Some people believe Harry and Meghan should be stripped of their titles for telling unforgivable lies, despite aspects of his own book being called into question. Tom Bower, author of Revenge, told Good Morning Britain he believed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's television interview with Oprah Winfrey were hugely damaging to the royal family. Bower's comments were part of a debate on the show about whether the couple should be stripped of their titles over the publication of Prince Harry's memoir, Spare. The couple has also been accused of hypocrisy. Their actions have been pretty problematic in the past couple years, but what do you guys think? Are they hypocrites? Let me know in the comments. And on to number 1, financial independence. More revelations on how Charles was a dad. Harry exposed his dad for not taking his calls during the build-up to Megxit and eventually being cut off financially when the Sussexes moved to the US. He also admitted that Will and him are not on speaking terms after his father stopped picking up the phone, adding, "There's a lot to work through there. I feel really let down." According to Harry, Charles refused to continue speaking with his son about his plans for Megxit after he took matters into his own hands out of concern for his own mental health and that of his wife and son. "It's really sad that it's gotten to this point, but I've got to do something for my own mental health, my wife's, and for my kids because I could see where this was headed," he said. "I feel really let down because he's been through something similar. He knows what pain feels like, and Archie's his grandson." Number 10, Jimmy Kimmel laughing at Megan Fox. The Transformers actress recalled her time as a Bad Boys 2 extra, a role she got when she was 15 in a 2009 appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live. She claims that director Michael Bay devised a different strategy because Fox lacked the legal capacity to drink or sit at the bar. He made her wear a Stars and Stripes bikini, a red cowboy hat, and 6-inch heels for a soaking wet dance under a waterfall. She stated that's kind of a microcosm of how Bay's mind works. Jimmy replied, "Well, that's really a microcosm of how all our minds work." I don't know what all he's talking about, but no comment. Some of us have the decency to suppress those feelings and act as though they are not there. Again, Kimmel, I don't know about that one. People were appalled by Kimmel's response to Fox's story, which involved a minor, when the interview resurfaced on Twitter 11 years later, and they demanded an apology from the late-night host. Number 9, Ben Affleck. Affleck spoke with a French-Canadian journalist named Anne-Marie Lozic while promoting Jersey Girl on Box Office. She sat in his lap for the entirety of the conversation. Just want to let you know it was consensual, but I guess for the time it just was a little risque. With his arms folded over the columnist's midsection, the Batman entertainer proposed Lozic remove her shirt, ridiculed French inflections, and remarked on her firm breast. In the midst of the hashtag #MeToo movement in 2017, Hillary Burton claimed that Affleck inappropriately touched her during a 2003 appearance on MTV's TRL. The box office interview with Lozic began to circulate online, and numerous individuals questioned Affleck's behavior toward women in light of the video. Lozic stated to Entertainment Tonight that she conducted many interviews like that with Affleck and that the video had been misinterpreted. She stated, "The day I did that particular interview, it was a little bit typical, I would say, in the sense that we would have this game going on and it was strictly for the cameras while the cameras were on." Adding adding that their interviews always got very high ratings. She stated, "I thought it was kind of fun. I aired everything that we did in the full interview without editing anything out." Lozique said that people liked the clips with Affleck and that they were a big thing in Quebec. However, Lozique acknowledged that the circumstance has altered in light of Burton's allegations against the actor. She stated, "Of course with this whole story, I guess it changes the dynamic a little bit, but it was still very positive up until yesterday night." Number 8, David Letterman and Madonna. He asked her to kiss a man in the audience shortly after the pop star joined Letterman on the Late Show stage to cheers from the audience. "Why do you care so much about my sexual life?" he was asked by Madonna. He responded, "As we all know, I have none of my own," urging her to kiss a man in the audience. Disrespectful, disgusting, and creepy. I don't know how he still is in the Hollywood industry, but again, I guess that is most of Hollywood. Again, the crowd encouraged him to make his request. "Incidentally, you are a sick F word," she told him after Madonna refused once more. "Why do I receive so much shit? It's bizarre." Honestly, Madonna, you're right. Number 7, Anne Hathaway. Hathaway dealt with a number of body-related questions while discussing her role as Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises with Extra reporter Jerry Penacoli. Penacoli brought up her feline fitness regime by pointing out that Hathaway needed to be in perfect shape for the movie. "It wasn't about being in top physical condition, it was about being able to perform the fights and stunts flawlessly," Hathaway stated. Hathaway patiently replied that the form-fitting costume she wore did not feel like sweatpants. She then turned her attention to her male co-star Christian Bale, claiming that he had it worse because his costume had covered his ears. Penacoli asked her about her diet and exercise routine prior to the film, continuing the body-related questions. She dismissed her routine as boring, but the reporter appeared determined to get specifics. "Is it safe to say that you're attempting to get thinner? Man, what's the deal?" "You look great," she said, surprising him. She continued, "No, not at all. We have to discuss this. What would you like? Do you want to be put in a catsuit?" Ate him up. Anyway. Number 6, Scarlett Johansson. In 2012, Avengers co-stars Jeremy Renner and Scarlett Johansson talked to the same reporter, Penacoli, when he asked the actress if she wore underwear with her costume as Black Widow. Johansson stated, "You're like the 5th person that has asked me that today. What is going on?" asked the actress later. "When did people begin asking each other about their underwear in interviews?" Johansson cut him off as Penacoli explained that he asked because Johansson wears a skin-tight costume in the movie. "I'll let you think of something. Whatever you think I should or shouldn't wear underneath the costume," she said. Number 5, Samuel L. Jackson or Lawrence Fishburne. KTLA news anchor Sam Rumid mentioned the recent buzz surrounding Jackson's Super Bowl commercial as he introduced Jackson to the audience. "Which Super Bowl advertisement?" the actor inquired. "Yikes, awkward." Before Jackson realized Rubin had mistaken him for Fishburne, who had appeared in a Kia ad during the 2014 Super Bowl. A few weeks earlier, he appeared perplexed. "You're as crazy as Twitter users." As the anchor apologized, Jackson stated, "I'm not Lawrence Fishburne. No two of us are alike," he continued. "You're the entertainment reporter for this station and you don't know the difference between me and Lawrence Fishburne? We may all be black and famous, but we don't all look alike." Jackson said there must be a very short line for your job outside there, as Rubin tried to get past the mix-up and continued the interview. "See, you mess up with Samuel Jackson, you're gonna feel the burn." Number 4, Sean Connery. Barbara Walters inquired about the James Bond actor's earlier statement that it is preferable to slap women with an open fist rather than a closed one. Connery informed her, "I haven't changed my opinion." The actor responded, "No, I don't think it's good," when Walters asked him whether he thought it was good to slap a woman. "It's not that bad in my opinion. It entirely depends on the circumstances and whether it is warranted." She then at that point requested what type of circumstance would justify hitting a lady, and Connery said it ought to just come after a man has had a go at all the other things. "Women are pretty good at this, but they just can't stop doing it. They want to be in charge. After that, you give them the last word, but they don't like it," he stated. "They want to say it again and get into a situation that is really provocative. Then I believe it to be absolutely correct." He was warned by Walters that he would probably get mail from people after the interview was broadcast. The actor replied, "May get some women." Number 3, Taylor Swift. The pop star gave reporters a closer look at her dress and shoes as the camera panned over her on the 2015 Grammy Awards red carpet. The ET reporter said, "I just wanted to show the legs. You're going to go home tonight with maybe more than just a trophy. As I told you beforehand, I imagine many men." "I'm not gonna walk home with any men tonight," Swift responded. "I'll go spend some time with my friends and afterward I will return home to my cats. I get in trouble with men." She did handle that gracefully, but again, we need to stop taking the attention off of the same topics when we're interviewing women. Number 2, Letterman being creepy again. After Aniston examined her aversion for flying in planes during a 1998 appearance on The Late Show, Letterman hurried nearer to her. He said, "I apologize if this is rude, I just want to try one thing." A drum roll got behind the scenes and the late night host placed his hand on Aniston's neck while attempting to catch a piece of her hair with his mouth. Aniston yelled in shock, jerked away, and asked, "What are you doing?" He then utilized his other hand to put a strand of her hair straightforwardly into his mouth, sucking it until it dropped out. Aniston dried her hair with a napkin, appearing shocked. Letterman continued the interview after observing that Aniston appeared jumbled and asking, "You're still traumatized by that hair deal, aren't you?" Before jokingly requesting that someone carry her off stage, the actress confirmed that she had been traumatized. And finally, number 1, Britney Spears. A montage of several misogynistic interviews that the young pop star endured when she was at the height of her fame was included in the New York Times documentary Framing Britney Spears, which was released in February 2021 on Hulu and FX. Spears' conversation with Sawyer in 2003 on ABC's Primetime Thursday is one of the most shocking. The combative questions the journalist posed included whether or not Spears liked her voice. She also mentioned Spears' world-famous bottom and commented on how modestly she dressed. Sawyer also said to Spears that she upset a lot of mothers in this country and seemed to defend Kendall Elrod, the wife of the then governor of Maryland. Ehrlich had said that she would shoot Spears if she had the chance because of the example she set for young women. Spears was the target of this attack. Britney sat through the interview while Sawyer inquired about her split from JT. He basically stated that you broke his heart. You accomplished something that caused him such torment, such misery. What were you up to? Sawyer reportedly asked Spears about the breakup, suggesting that she was to blame. Spears broke down in tears and asked if they could take a break after Sawyer told her that the singer had a year that would test a lot of people. In 2021, following the premiere of Framing Britney Spears, many fans claimed that Sawyer owed the pop star an apology after the 2003 special went viral. That is all for today. Let me know what you think about these embarrassing and creepy interviews that have happened in the past. Just like this video if you like the actresses I talked about. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.